Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIII. So, the cutscene is important, so let's check it out.
Yep.
Alright, let's do it.
Sure.
So, Lightning, come here often?
What a day it's been, huh?
We don't even know where to go.
Vanille, stop.
That's a good point, Saz. Maybe we should think about it? Come up with a plan? Oh.
Eden? The Sanctum Seat of Power. Oh, that's a great idea. Just charge right in there. Give him a taste of Lassie terror. You're serious?
Keep running. It's die or turn Seath. There's no place for Lassie to hide. No. They want to fight. Let's take it to the Sanctum's door.
So let me get this straight.
Do I even need to make a list of the reasons that that's stupid?
Sure.
I will.
Because it's something that normally Snow would think.
Well, no. Honestly, even Snow hasn't gone that far in the depths of
No,
stupidity.
it's more so the fact that... Okay.
Enemy at the state. Hang on.
Yep. Take a shot.
Like, for all his stupidity, Snow has never figured something this stupid. Like, I consider Snow's stupidity to often be stupidity done out of desperation or lack of options. He doesn't think things through the best, but normally that's when his back is to a wall. This is Lightning's honest-to-God plan, and she calls Snow an idiot.
Let me put it this way. You failed to take down Anima. What makes you think you're gonna be able to take down Eden, the leader of the fucking Fal'Cie?
I know, right?
I can explain that. It's because now they have magic powers.
Lights out, cocoon.
Well,
Magical powers given by the Fal'Cie, though.
Yeah,
So
the Fal'Cie,
by that logic-
the Fal'Cie can probably just take them easily away from her. So it's this plan. So much can go wrong with this plan.
Yeah, but we'll cross that bridge when it happens.
Doesn't matter.
But since
Our
we still
focus is...
let's-
Whoa, I'm sorry.
You need
Our
to have a
is-
focus to go anywhere.
Not only that, Lightning, if you disobey your focus, you're gonna turn into mindless zombies.
Okay, I get what they're going for. Like they say, screw destiny and fate and that.
Better to pick your path and keep
That's the
moving.
problem. We established the rules and she's trying to break them. Like, she knows that if they disobey their focus, they'll turn into zombies. Hell, it can literally happen at any moment that they don't proceed to do their
It's
focus.
connected to the major keywords that I mentioned previously: faith and knowledge. What they do know about
Oh
the
my god.
When the feast
Sorry.
begins.
Sorry, just the stupidity of the
Let's
lines
hope
from
we
Lightning are overwhelming.
Go on,
No, he
Tail.
hasn't.
Lightning was suffering,
No, I'm just waiting the cutscene. Don't worry.
reaching out to us.
What? That was Lightning reaching out to you?
Okay, they're later gonna. Okay, she's foreshadowing something for later. The problem is
Oh, for fuck's sake!
she's foreshadowing.
None of this ever
Vanilla's narration is foreshadowing something later. The problem is that the game does a poor job of conveying it.
Also, you know, Hope was really mad at the people because they attacked the Fal'Cie. And
Vanille.
But you almost killed Saz.
Won't be if you keep pushing me like that.
Brilliant.
Okay, so let me just point out the stupidity of Hope going with Lightning. Hope, you threw a tantrum at these people for going after a Fal'Cie, which got you branded. And now you're choosing to side with the woman who wants to take the fight to the strongest Fal'Cie on Cocoon.
He has a reason for
Make
doing
up your
so.
mind.
He has a reason for doing so, but we haven't explained it yet.
because of his father.
No, well, no. We'll explain the reason why he decided to take on with Lightning later, but he will explain later.
Yes, they will explain later, but again, speaking from the context of, say, somebody who's experiencing the story from the first place, Hope going with Lightning doesn't make a lick of sense. Like, if anything,
in the current
he
context,
should be
yeah.
rebelling against her even more at that point.
It's more so because up until this point, as far as we can tell, Hope just wants to leave and go back to the city, and following Lightning is basically going straight into danger. So yeah, from the context of this specific point in the story, it makes little sense. Yes.
Not to mention, he hated that they attacked the Fal'Cie in the first place, so now he's totally on board with this other plan to attack the Fal'Cie, which will literally make them public enemies of Cocoon. Like, okay, it's one thing that their enemies are Cocoon down here, but they go up straight to Eden.
Jova,
It doesn't really matter. It's a literal, classy system. The moment you're a fal'Cie, you're basically an outlaw. No questions asked.
Exactly, Jova. No, trust me, Jova. It doesn't matter anyway. We're post l'Cie. We're already enemies of Cocoon.
It's not a matter of what you do. It's a matter of who you are. This system is literally that close-minded.
Oh, no. I do get that, but what I mean is like, well, at this point, as we'll see later, they can pretty much, as long as they keep their tattoos covered, pass off as just regular humans in there. Heck, as we'll later see, a lot of people are able to hide the fact that they're l'Cie.
You know what's the sad part?
Actually relatively easy in Cocoon.
You know what's the sad part?
What I mean...
The only... Let's go on.
What I mean is that if they attack Eden, then what I mean by them being public enemies is the fact that people will be able to recognize them by face that they're l'Cie. Like, for now, only like the high officials will be able to tell that they're l'Cie. And even still, as we've seen, it's actually pretty easy to hide the fact that you're a l'Cie in public. But if they do this, yeah.
There's no motivation.
He
wants to be stronger and sees lightning as the best horse to bet on.
Yeah.
What's the plan from here?
Okay. I can kind of see that, but only because of the competition. And honestly, I'd have rather he latched on to Sass for that.
It's more of a case where these characters literally have little to no choices.
It also has to do...
It's the two themes of the game, knowledge and faith. It's more the fact that the whole, mythos about the l'Cie is something that the characters do know, but don't know quite in detail. Lightning is indeed actually taking a gamble here, and the game is just conveying it very poorly. But essentially, the idea is that she doesn't believe that the entire mythos is as, not black and white, but as close as, what they have seen so far has been. Even the data did mention that it's been a long while since Cocoon has actually seen stuff like the Eidolons or the Sith. So the entire idea behind this that Lightning is literally challenging or at least wanting confirmation of what the status quo is, and it's more of a case of if I had to die, I at least want to die in, doing what I want to do.
Also, Pedro, that bit Hope just said near the end of that cutscene, he said, "l'Cie aren't welcome at home." Does that count?
No.
No.
Nah. That being said, though, Tia, that is a good point. But that also goes back to my other point about how Lightning's a damn hypocrite and the game doesn't call her out for it. Like, she critiques Snow for his supposed stupidity of just rushing into things, yet here she does something that dwarfs Snow's stupidity. Like, at most, Snow...
because she's
Anyway...
so she gets away.
Hold on, Badger.
Eden is Cocoon's capital. It shares its name with the fal'Cie patron. Host to the world's centers of culture and government, it functions as the heart of human society in Cocoon. At the city's core rises the monumental Eden Hall, seat of the Sanctum's administration. The fal'Cie Eden Dweep deals dweep within the structure's interior.
There's also another thing, Drova. One thing that it's been kind of there since the beginning of the game and everything. For all her bad decisions of her own, Lightning never wants these other people to follow her. If they actually are trying, like Hope here, she blatantly states to them it's basically suicidal. Don't do that unless you have a death wish. Snow instead wants to act like the leader and actually rally people around this cause.
To Snow's credit, though, those people were purged. They kind of needed
I'm
the help
not talking about the volunteers, because he did explicitly mention just volunteers only. So he did mention about the risk as well. But remember the scene in Lake Brescia, when he did try to ask the party to work together and trying to find their focus instead.
I do agree that was a problem, but I also bring up the counterpoint that at that point nobody knew what to do, and again, to Snow's credit, he's trying to help them find a way so that they don't end up as, mindless zombie monsters who torturously tend to have a consciousness while they are said mindless monsters.
Yeah, they're the only enemies in the game. The Sith are the only enemies in the game that can use items, which is the game's way of conveying that they still have some semblance of their humanity in there. Okay, this is the thing, Jova. See, this also has to do with the gameplay as well, Jova. See, the reason the plot is splitting the party in two right now is because they need at least 2 party members on each side, so that the gameplay is properly balanced. So it also has to do with the fact that they're kind of doing it as well for the sake of the gameplay.
The party
You know,
actually
you know how
split
this could have
three
been.
ways
You know, this could have been helped if the total amount of playable characters would have been more than 6. I know that it feels very kind of petty, but I kind of miss when Final Fantasy games tend to have a kind of relatively huge roster that you could choose parties from. But sure, you could get expanded bit by bit, but eventually you will form kind of like your mini army, and you can actually swap between. Of course, the trade-off would have been that if there were too many, the characterization would have been reduced to each. So I get the idea of making the trade-off, but for the First Person 13 kind of reaches a bit of minimal historical. Like 12 also had, technically speaking, 6 party members, for ones you could choose. But to compensate that, they had temporary party members and quite the selection to go through the entire game.
5 also did something similar too.
Nothing. No sign it's been activated.
When was the last time that they had a large amount of party members?
Final Fantasy
9.
10,
Yeah, 9. Yeah, that would be probably 9.
I had like what
10,
7, I guess. Like even at Tidus,
I feel like 10 had a bit.
pretty cool. 6 plus one section where you
Okay,
can see more.
believe it or not, everybody, we're about to go into the gameplay highlight, the highlight of the gameplay experience of Final Fantasy 14.
Now, believe it or not, we finally get a use for Hope. Hope is actually kind of good with machines, apparently.
He actually has showcased that before with a couple of electronics, but in this case he's really piloting a dreadnought. Kind of like a Magitech Armor. It's a cute reference, I guess.
Okay.
This will actually come to play in a later game in the franchise as well.
Actually, also,
Lightning, where are you going?
Also a cutscene later on in this game as well.
Well, remember, Hope told her to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so now we have this little section where these are cooling color machines are called pulse armaments, and they're capable of clearing away enemy hordes with mighty blows. Attacking with A consumes power, but breaking through fences will recharge the machine's power reserves somehow. While piloting an armament, enemies cannot harm the party. So basically, that's basically what this is. This is basically a little set piece. The one set piece that this game has.
Wait, doesn't it technically have that one other set piece? Although that is kind of a gameplay variant, but still,
Which one are you talking about specifically?
I wonder if I should even call it a set piece, but the part with the motor, what was it?
If you're asking about a section where there's no pilots to the motorcycle Shiva, that was supposed to be planned as DLC for 13.2, but was scrapped.
Yes, that bit.
It's not in this game. It was supposed to be for 13.2, but could not be.
So yeah,
well, this is cute.
It is, but the thing is, Shirai, there's no challenge to it because these guys can't even damage you whatsoever. So basically,
they're just people.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you're just these guys are literally just Legos that you're clearing, basically.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of fine with this if it's at least fun. Like
it's a nice break. It's a nice break from the rest of the action. Problem is, it's the one time this game decides to actually have some kind of break from the action. Go on.
Yes.
Like. Me calling it cute is probably not a good thing, because that's the thing. Despite everything that's just happened, the music and the way this is just kind of bumbling around, and again, it really is like you're just yeeting Legos away.
Oh, it's actually themed
The tone is so strange.
And that was
it. It's actually themed Shirai. The track is literally called The March of a Dreadnought. So.
And that was
it's like the tone is just so much more whimsical and
yes, Shirai.
everything else.
Cherish it because we're not gonna. It's over before you know it, and we'll never do it for the rest of the game. There is one cutscene where you think maybe we'll do it, but we don't.
It's one of those things.
That's the problem with this game. Every time you think things are just gonna line up or something, boom, it gets taken away.
It's too soft. He's 15.
Yeah.
Sorry, she's a soldier. No emotion.
See the thing is. Okay. Well. Okay, like I'll explain that later.
All more emotions.
But No, that's the thing. Yeah, that was the one set piece in this entire game. From this point on, the game will, gameplay-wise, will be nothing but just walking and battling. I'm not even kidding. It's not like in Final Fantasy VII where there's various mini games depending on the situation over the course of the entire game. No. That's the one mini game in the entire game. That's it.
Hey Pedro, I guess if you want to mix some stuff up, you could always try using the
Again, it also has to do with the fact that the development in this game was a fucking train wreck. But again, I'll talk about that in better time.
But yeah, in general,
honestly though, I'm gonna agree with Shiroi though. It's like, well, it was a nice change of pace to have a more uplifting and somewhat cute tone.
Yeah, it was.
Music and how cute it looks and all that.
You could tell, however, that sequence was essentially underdeveloped. Like, it was technically functional and everything, but you can tell they kind of could have been developed by more, like, say, having different kind of enemies roaming around. Let's say a special attack instead of just the 2-hit combo, especially because, the Dreadnought is capable of having multiple attacks, You can tell there's a good foundation, but there's nothing more than that, and it's over before you know it. So you can tell it was hastily made, probably to give a bit more meat to this dungeon, which, like, I have to mention, is probably the worst in the entire game for just how dull it. I know that it's supposed to be a junkyard, but there's literally nothing interesting or even a place of the environment. Remember how in Final Fantasy VII, the ruins of the Sector 5, and I'm talking even about the original, had the immediate things that you could stick out from the pre-rendered backgrounds, like the giant hand sticking out, that's for the basis for the crane minigame of the remake. This doesn't really have that, or at least something unique that might be a similar thing to that.
I feel like the mech was supposed to be sort of the equivalent to that, and Hope is like the Aerith to Lightning's Cloud in that regard.
I guess, but again, it overstays
like you said, it's
very
not
quick.
Much.
Compared to that, the 7 remake at the very least allow you to add multiple, of those mini games with the crane weapons and everything, and they also had, expanded a bit of cute interactions between Cloud and Aerith on that. In here, again, it's not technically bad, but it could have been so much better.
I can't help but get the feeling that the 7 remake in a lot of ways feels like they were ultimately learning from the mistakes
Remember, Jova, most of the people that made this game work on that, so yeah.
Pedro.
Yes, Twips.
I was looking into Sasha's voice actor, Rena Wilson. He's done quite a lot of things. He was in an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and there's in many other TV shows. He was in a few video games, namely Mad World, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and he's also been in every Michael Bay directed.
Yeah, wasn't his kid? Wasn't
he was Mod Flap?
Oh, I'm not even gonna.
But it's still a good correction job because I actually misspelled his name as Reno Williams when he's actually called Reno Wilson. So it's
okay, but. True, yeah. But Pedro, if you want to mix something up, you could always try using the Eidolons when you get them more in battle.
Well, I haven't gotten Lightning's Eidolon yet, so.
I think we get in this part.
Well, that's why I said yet.
Well, that's what I meant. It's like, after you get them, you could try using them more in battle if you want to try and mix stuff up.
I can, but
we'll get to that when we, get to use it properly in battle.
I mean, it's not okay. To be fair, when it comes to turn-based Final Fantasy games, these are the most interactive Eidolons I've ever been. I
argue 10 was a bit better on that.
I don't know.
In 10 they actually did function like party member. In here, they're more of a glorified limit break.
I guess.
You can ride them too.
It's still way better for games like, say, 6. I argue that despite being so well integrated with the plot, the aspects of 6 it is important.
This isn't working.
Rip.
Okay, Hope, could you please try to see where you're walking?
What? I'm sorry, but I can't protect you when.
And now something comes out of Lightning's boobs.
You gotta take me with you.
Enough. The whole world is against us.
Okay. Knowing how Eidolons work, I have to wonder why this moment.
Yeah.
Because remember, Jova, it's been ever since they got brand lighting has been repressing almost all of their struggle and internal conflict and self-hatred, and this is basically the boiling point.
I get that. It's just like, well, the thing with Eidolons is that normally when they show up, it's for a big turning point in the character.
Well, we'll be able to we'll probably talk about that when the game actually explains that, actually.
And yes, Lightning's Eidolon is Odin, which has a bit of a different design here. He's not riding his steed Sleipnir, and his Zantetsuken, for some reason, instead of being a single blade, is a dual blade that can be, detached into two blades, but only in due time.
That cutscene just said, you're about how Vanille's voice actor was directed. I can only imagine that bit just said how Ali Hillis was directed.
But yes, Pedro is making it look like easy, also probably partially thanks also to the easy mode of the game. But trust me, this is also the first of the 3 Eidolon battle that I did mention that will kick your ass if you're not careful.
And Odin becomes his horse.
Yeah, despite it doesn't even have 6 legs.
That's the thing too. Easy mode makes the Eidolon battles incredibly easy. So there's that.
And Lightning actually takes the Zantetsuken for herself. This has become incredibly iconic, particularly in the crossover where Lightning uses the Zantetsuken for all of her limit breaks.
And by the way, in Lightning Returns, Odin becomes a chocobo.
Yeah.
Anyway, so. Wait, he did? Oh my god, that's right, he did.
The Angel of Valhalla, Jova.
Different. Was that an Eidolon?
So, okay, here's my problem with this. Now that I have gone through this game, there's a much better scene where Lightning's Eidolon should have turned up, because then that would have been the turning point in her character. Here, I guess it's them trying to emphasize her relationship with Hope better. Though, if I recall correctly, there is literally a data log section mentioning the fact that she will still leave that kid behind in a ditch if she can.
We were talking about times. Let me put it this way: there's a total of 4 characters in this game where their Eidolon moment is nonsensical. Lightning here, Hope.
Oh God, Hope.
Another one we haven't met.
Another one we haven't met, and well, okay, I can understand why.
Saz is also pretty nonsensical. Honestly.
No, absolutely not.
No, Saz is the best one, actually. I'll argue.
Yeah, Saz is the one that makes
no,
sense.
I mean,
well, hold on. I'm talking more so about how the fight ends, which you and you.
No. We were just talking.
That's
about
all we're talking about, though. That's all we're talking about, though.
Okay, fair enough.
See.
Well, hey, at least Lightning apologized for her attitude for once.
Yeah, that's because the whole point of the Eidolon battle is that Lightning is kind of psychological therapy for Lassie. Now that she's gotten all her frustrations out into the Eidolon, now she's much more calm and she's actually thinking more clearly, basically. That's the whole kind of point of these bits. Okay, see, the thing is, Hope makes the choice to fight alongside Lightning, but quickly finds himself exhausted, blah, blah, blah. Lightning grows ever more agitated. Their enemy is the same army. She cannot afford to look after the struggling Hope while she faces his interests. And that's what happens with the Eidolon stuff. Basically, the idea is that when the Lassie is on a time where his or her first desperation is at an all-time high, and the emotions are boiling like completely, that's when the Eidolon comes in to put the Lassie out of his or her misery. I'll continue after this cutscene.
Got my back?
Oh, never mind. There's a battle still. Okay. Yeah. So the idea is that every time a Lassie... Oh, just alt mode. Okay, let's talk about just alt mode on the Eidolons. Lightning can spend technical points, which is the closest we have to NP in this game, to summon Odin, her personal Eidolon. Only Lightning can summon Odin. Well, select techniques from the battle menu, then choose the summon command.
Why you get rid of this guy?
I'll explain. I'll talk about that. I'll explain that in a moment, Dej. Okay. So so this is the animation for summoning Odin.
His character has a themed crystal, but you can see also in the crystarium, and Lightning, of course, is shaped like a rose.
So, believe it or not, fighting with Eidolons looks cool. I emphasize, it looks cool.
Okay, so take a look at the Eidolon's SP gauge below. The SP gauge is depleted gradually over time, and also whenever the Eidolon takes damage. If it reaches 0, the Eidolon will be dismissed. After summoning an Eidolon, you can press X to activate Gestalt mode at any time. This mode will allow you to perform powerful attacks on the back of your Eidolon, as in, like, you start riding Odin and you start doing powerful attacks. Pay close attention to Lightning's Gestalt gauge. This card represents Gestalt mode's duration. Your Eidolon will disappear when Gestalt mode expires, so it is best to activate it after the gauge is charged. To charge the Gestalt gauge, help your Eidolon attack enemies and build attack chains. Usually, I just go straight into Gestalt mode because fuck that. Combat controls are slightly different in Gestalt mode. Press the button shown as the Gestalt dial to execute attacks. The dial's count will decrease each time to use an ability. When it reaches 0, your Eidolon will be dismissed.
Okay, what's wrong with being out of Gestalt mode?
The bigger the bar is of a Gestalt mode, the more numbers at disposal you will have to choose for your attacks during the actual Gestalt mode. That's
basically the name of the game is go into Gestalt mode as soon as you can.
No, more like try to fill in the bar as quickly as you can, and then go full Gestalt. And since you will at that point you will have enough numbers to actually take advantage of, go full it.
Alright, let's just, there you go. And this is there you go. Wow, she even broke the screen.
Yeah.
So again, looks pretty cool, right? So, Pedro, is there a caveat with using Eidolon?
Not really, you just press buttons to do attacks and that's it. Like, press up A for another attack, down A for another attack. Eventually you can press X to just,
do the ultimate attack.
Do the ultimate one, that's all it is.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Eidolons were such a missed opportunity to include mounts in the game. Sure, the game's a hallway, but at least mounts could have helped us move faster along here and there.
The thing is that also, Jova, not all Eidolons, even in Gestalt mode, actually move particularly hopes.
That's the thing! There's a scene where they all use their
Eidolons
as mounts.
There you go, Theo. This is where you can probably bring up the shipping thing.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Indeed.
They even have the romantic piano.
Sky. Yes, those are indeed shoes. Thank you, game.
Fighting? He may be a little too young for you.
And then the gun accidentally goes off. Your mum's dead.
Even though we both have pink hair.
That's the thing. Hope has white hair, so interesting.
I guess he takes more after his dad.
I guess. No, wait, no. His dad has
His mother actually, I think, had more silver-esque hair.
Okay, maybe it's because it was the first cutscene with this, but honestly, I'm not seeing the shipping.
It's more of a case of not just this, but also, even after this, Lightning will continue traveling a lot, so they will have a bit more characterization, and shippers tend to get any excuse to transform into that. Oh, we're totally falling in love, guys.
Is that more their fault then?
Okay. Let's explain this before it gets misunderstood here. It was confirmed by the people behind the franchise that yes, Lightning and Hope were getting shit. Like, trust me, if it was just fans going off it, wouldn't have mentioned it. But nope. By word of God,
any article?
They were headed towards Poland.
Yes.
On his way home.
I was gonna say, is there any article?
Honestly, Wes.
well, whatever.
Yes.
Well, whatever. The point is, Toriyama's a creep. Moving on.
What else is new?
Wasn't he the guy that tried to have you these panties at one point?
Yeah, the Marlene's panties in 7.
Yeah, already went there. Moving on.
I mean, look, just age Hope up and I'm fine with it, but I don't know. With the way that the age gap is here, it does seem like a sense of grooming. Especially if Hope sees Lightning as a replacement for his mother.
Find out more.
Thankfully, by 13.2, Hope is aged up, so it's fine there. Then they de-aged him for Lightning Returns, and, well, I don't know what the hell was even going on. Well, I lie, I do know what was going on, but it was still stupid.
Basically.
Anyway, this is Saz's stream we're listening to. It's...
One of them. It actually has a couple, believe it or not.
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, let me answer Deji's question. Basically, they removed MP from this game as well. Combined with the fact that your HP automatically gets healed after every battle, as you can probably guess, yeah, it makes the experience rather easy. The developers said that apparently the reason they removed MP was because they didn't want players to be discouraged from using the more visually impressive and powerful attacks.
Spoilers. Even what they do have are not visually and powerfully impressive, I will admit. If anything, this is a good segue. You know what this game does? It removes all the cool toys that normally you will be able to play with in the other games, specifically the strongest magics in the game, Flare, Holy, and Ultima.
Yeah.
Where are they instead? All the more powerful enemies do that. You don't get to do deep shit.
But Teo, you get Army of One.
That's fine, but can I also have those? I don't even have a problem with the attacks. I don't really have a problem with the attacks that you're being given in this game. But again, can't you also give me the powerful ones that are also the staple of the franchise? There's technically not really a problem with that, and you can easily compensate by making them more costly or something like that. But no, they don't.
But
Not only that, but let's talk about the Eidolons as well. So the Eidolons look cool to play with, right? Well, there's just one little problem. In terms of damage, they don't really change stuff on the matter.
Nope.
I'm not even kidding. So you think these powerful-looking summons will help turn the tide like a lot of summons tend to?
Okay, very useful in one specific situation, I will say, but it's for way later in the game for the context to assume a decent meaning, so I cannot mention now. But
let me just point this out. We're in a Final Fantasy games where summons do little to nothing for you.
I'm sad to say, with the thing that I was mentioning before, for all how we're reintegrating the plot and how they're very useful for you to level up, the Espers in Final Fantasy VI as a summoning spirit kinda suck. You can summon them only once per battle, and their effect might as well be replaced by you doing your normal combat moves. So there's that too.
So what you're saying is that this is that, but back with a vengeance?
Well, I can explain that in another part.
I guess to be fair, at least you can use Eidolons multiple times, but yeah.
Let me just quickly finish though. That's the basic gist of it, Dej. Like I said before, the developers wanted to make it all the easier for you to stream through their games so you can get back to watching the movie they wish they were making instead. As for the Eidolons thing, yeah, like we said in the data log earlier, yes, Eidolons are kind of this big safety thing that the Falsi put on Lassie. In case they start getting all too antsy and all too over emotional, just have these spirits come out of them and kill them. Put them out of their misery.
I'm sure this will not backfire spectacularly. Oh wait, Caius.
Honestly,
we're not on that game yet. But the point is,
well, here's my question: why not just turn them into sea? Like, the Falsi don't seem to really care about how much suffering the Lassie do. So
because, Java, the Falsi are fucking idiots. It boils down to that, really.
It's a larger mythos as well, but for that I will have to literally wait until the end of the game to explain.
Okay, but let me just, like I said, there's actually quite a lot of characters in this game who have the Eidolons come out in probably the most inappropriate way.
Yeah.
Which Lightning here, where there was a much better point later on when we're near the Carbuncle. There was also the fact that there's Hope is the last one, the second to last one to get his Eidolon, and they choose in the moment where he comes out of nowhere and is random and should have been a previous moment where he's interacting with Snow. Second, there's also a specific character we haven't met yet and it's not even just the Eidolon moment. That particular character we haven't met yet, sometimes she goes apeshit for no good reason, and it's one of those two moments it's because the game needs to get conflict, so they just have that character go ape shit for no reason, Jova. And it's one of those moments where Eidolon comes out, and it's just there because, oh right, we have yet to have her summon Bahamut. She starts getting antagonistic all of a sudden for no reason.
What's your quote-unquote favorite one?
With Snow, I can understand. He was beaten to a pulp by all those soldiers, so I can understand why. With Saz is the best one when it comes to the moment where his Eidolon comes in.
But you know what I mean by your quote-unquote favorite one, though.
Well, Vanille. Well, to be fair, I don't mind the way Ekaton shows up, because it's during a moment where she's afraid that a certain character will find out something. So there is a logic to it. It's not the best, but go on.
I literally meant which one's the worst to you.
Which one's the worst? Oh, definitely. For me, it's definitely the character we haven't met yet, because the moment, because Hope's moment also comes out of nowhere, but the other one is even worse, because she has literally no reason to suddenly start wanting to kill everybody. Like, she just does because we need conflict. That's all it is. But anyway, we're dragging this out. See you for the next part, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See ya.